a turtle shell will protect you from gunshots. So I just killed the turtle, and now I'm going to take that over to a group of enemies. Okay, I'm currently getting closer to the group of enemies, and I am getting shot. My health is going down, but I'm hoping this turtle shell will help me out. And look, it did actually hit the turtle shell, and I did not take any damage. So that myth is confirmed. And that was just one out of the 205 myths that I will be busting in this video. Some of these taking me so long that it took hours in real life to try and crack. This is currently the longest myth busting video on Red Dead Redemption 2. So let's get straight into myth number 2. So if you've ever played Assassin's Creed, you know that you can fall from extraordinarily high heights into hay bales and not take any damage. So I wanted to try that in Red Dead Redemption 2. Can you survive a far fall from a bridge? You cannot. Myth is busted. You cannot survive by falling on a hay bales off of a bridge. For myth number 3, apparently if you take somebody that is knocked out into the doctor's office, there will be a hidden dialogue. So let's see, we're walking in.
This is not a mortuary, idiot.
And well, he does say something, but nothing really hidden. Let me try to lasso him in and see if I drop him, then he'll do anything. Let's see if there's any hidden dialogue at all, and he's really not saying anything. So I'm gonna say this myth is busted. There is no hidden dialogue if you bring somebody knocked out into the doctor's office. This next myth is there is a hidden invisible floor up over the chandelier in Saint Denis where you can go and watch shows. So you can only access through using mods. So let's see if this works. Just as a drop. Yep, it does work. So yes, there is an invisible wall, or I shouldn't say wall, visible floor here. That myth is confirmed. For this one, Arthur actually apparently coughs if he's in the water in freezing cold temperatures. So I want to listen here. Okay, yeah, it does sound like he's coughing. Yeah, he's for sure coughing. That myth is confirmed. Arthur will cough if in freezing cold temperature water. This next myth is if you fall into shallow water, you will get a special animation. So there's the one animation, but of course I want to test it and see what it looks like if I just fall normally, not onto water. So let's see here. I'm going to fall normally. Interesting. So I'm going to play these simultaneously. Both of these are up simultaneously. We're going to look to see if there's anything special. Slowing them down, they just look like normal animations to me. So I'm going to say myth busted. There is no special animation here. For this next myth, you can actually move horses on these carriages by not actually being in front. I'm not actually having to control them. I just have to shoot. Man, I wish I would have known this like 7 years ago when I was playing this for the first time. This is hilarious. Already this myth is confirmed. Now the driving and the steering is the only thing that is not necessarily up to par, but it is confirmed. For this next myth, if you don't know already, if you kill a legendary animal, usually no matter what, you get a perfect pelt. So if you end up killing it with dynamite, I guess you do not get a perfect pelt. So we're gonna find out. I'm throwing dynamite here at this legendary animal. Now, technically, I'm not supposed to get a legendary perfect pelt now. Now it is the moment of truth. And yes, the pelt is still perfect, so this myth is technically busted. On to the next. For this next myth, this is more for my offline players. If you can somehow get a carriage over to this spot, onto this specific guest house, I guess you can call it. The carriage is going to be tough, though. But you can actually get into Angelo Bronte's house, which is a house featured in one of the missions. And this is something that you don't need mods for. Again, you just have to get the carriage. You shoot this specific window, and all you need to do is jump, and just like that, we're in. So that myth is confirmed. For the next myth, apparently, if you destroy all of the saloon, it ends up actually creating a barricade. So they actually barricade this entire area up if you load into the game. So I'm just going to destroy this entire spot. This is pretty much destroyed as much as I can get it. So if I log back in, I guess this is going to be locked up. So let's see if there's any boarded up. Wow. Okay, this was something you probably knew, but I didn't. So if you knew this, make sure you comment and let me know if you already knew this, but I did not know that it actually closes up and boards up the walls. Now, I'm actually really interested to see if, obviously I can't get in, but with mods I can. I wonder if there's a special dialogue line if I get in. Here we go.
Hey there.
Your hell raising has a lot of people out of pocket around here.
Don't know if that's special, but that still is pretty cool. For this next myth, you can actually kill the performers on stage. So we're going to use some dynamite, and let's see if I can kill the performers. And it looks like they just disappear, so that myth is busted. For this next myth, you can actually see individuals knitting, and I'm looking at this girl right now. I'm close up as I can. This is in Blackwater. Wow, she actually is stretching out the fabric, so I'm gonna say that's confirmed. Wow, that detail is extraordinary. That's amazing. If you go into this cabin, which is featured during one of the last missions in the game, it'll actually be one of the warmest cabins in the entire world. 87. Now listen, you could say it's because I'm by the stove, stove. But I mean, 88 degrees is pretty wild. And also, it doesn't even look like the stove is on. I think that's pretty interesting. This myth is confirmed. This next myth is that cows will act differently if you wear red. So if you know the old saying that cows don't like red, let's find out. Okay, for me, it does look like the cows are acting differently while I wear red, so I am going to confirm that for myself. But I really want to know if you guys try this. Comment below if you tried this and if the cows acted any differently for you, or the bulls in this case. This next myth is if you clean your weapon perfectly and then drop it on the ground overnight in a swampy area, it will end up becoming rusted. So basically, you keep your weapon out at night, and then the water gets on it or whatever. I don't really know. Okay, I had like 11 hours of sleep, and it is raining in the morning, so this is pretty good. Hopefully, we're going to see if this is rusted. I just cleaned it last night. We'll see if there's any rust on it. Let's go look at it, maintaining it. And there is no rust. No stats actually dropped at all. So that myth is busted. It does not rust your gun overnight. A wolf will follow you across the entire map. So basically, I'm going to try and walk across the map. This is where we're starting right here by this lake up in the snowy area. And I have a mod that lets me run a little bit faster. Obviously, I have God mode on as well, because if he does attack me, I don't want to die. I want to make sure this works. Okay, we're officially out of the snowy area, and this wolf, we're going to call him Charles, is consistently following me still. And he's still trying to bite me. There's no issues at this moment. All right, Charles is still following me. We're good distance out of the snow area now. He hasn't stopped. I'm about to just confirm it. Oh, he actually found somebody else. So I'm going to actually say this myth is confirmed just because I think he would have kept following me. But let's go on to the next myth. For this next myth, if you have bounty hunters on you, you can have them shoot each other throughout their crossfire. So I'm going to try and get in front of this guy and hope this other guy shoots him. And basically I can just kill one of them without me having to do anything. Now, this is only going to work with mods if you have God mode, because I'd be dead already. I honestly feel like the bullets are going through him. He's not dying through the crossfire at all. This NPC is smart because he's not shooting when I'm right in front of him. I think I might have to bust it because it doesn't look like he's shooting when I'm directly behind him, specifically to not hit him. So for me, I'm going to say this is busted. Like, look, he's not shooting right now. On to the next myth. All right, this next myth is this specific fan in Blackwater will only turn on if it's over 80 degrees. Now, this is an interesting myth. I hope it works because I think that's really interesting. Obviously, the fan is not working right now. It's now 81 degrees. It's 3:31 p.m. And we're going to see if the fan's on. No, it does not work. This myth, unfortunately, is busted. I really wanted this to work. But it makes sense. For the next myth, apparently the Saint Denis Bank actually doesn't hold any money. So I'm looking in one of the safes. This is only available through mods if you have like the free cam. And as of right now, in the biggest safe, there is no money to be seen. I want to keep looking around. This is another safe on the corner, and there's no money as well in here. Very interesting. I'm wondering where this bank is getting all of their money. If there's no money, I think there's one more safe to look at to see. This safe as well, and it's pretty much the same. I think they're just copy and pasting. So, wow, that's really interesting. This myth is confirmed. The Saint Denis Bank does not actually hold any money. For this next myth, if you buy all of the papers, you will get a secret dialogue from this kid vendor. So I'm going to buy all the newspapers. Interesting enough, I've actually never bought a newspaper in this game, so let's just buy all these newspapers quick. All right, let's see if I get a special dialogue from the kid.
See ya.
See ya? That's it? I just made this kid's whole summer and his whole allowance for a year. Unfortunately, the myth is busted. You don't get a secret dialogue. For this next myth, the audience will react if you are on the stage. Again, this is something you can only do with mods. So I'm going to put Arthur on the stage. And it doesn't... I can antagonize or cheer here, but it doesn't look like the audience is doing anything. I feel like the audience is already programmed to have a set specific, thing that they do. So this myth is busted, unfortunately. For the next myth, you can actually die from this specific act. Since this guy's going to try and hit the sledgehammer over her, I guess if you go in front of it, you'll die. We're gonna find out. Let's see if Arthur dies. I don't know if I'm perfectly in front of it, though. I do get bumped a little bit, but for me, this myth is busted. But I don't know, maybe you could try it and see if it works for you. This next myth is that people that are exiting a show or any type of movie are invincible. Now, I believe this is only triggered if you are attending the show afterwards, and then the audience will come out. So I guess I actually can't shoot any of them. They're all invincible. And wow. Okay, so look at the reticle. I actually can't shoot these guys that are coming out of the movies. So this myth is technically confirmed. This next myth is if you have ever played the Red Dead Redemption 2 story and you've done this specific kind of side quest, Charles makes paintings that are from other people's family members slash mothers in the nude. So basically what this myth is if you end up killing Charles, people will recognize, obviously I'm going to follow Charles to a spot. I think I'm going to use dynamite and then I'm going to try to no-clip my way out of here. So let's see if this works, and hopefully this just kills him, and then I can walk around with his body, and people will supposedly recognize this very controversial artist. Okay, here we go. I can pick him up. Also, if you were wondering if you got any cool loot, he had like cigarettes and 20 cents. Does anybody recognize this man? Now, technically, I don't think he did anything illegal, so taking him to the police station wouldn't really do anything. Probably just trigger a kidnapping thing. But I'm gonna walk around town and see if anybody recognizes this guy. Okay, I've been walking around for a little bit. I'm gonna say this myth is busted. People do not recognize the controversial artist. On to the next myth. This next myth is actually really adorable. Is little rodents that walk on the ground of swampy or area that's wet actually leave footprints? And yes, that is confirmed. They do leave tiny footprints. That is so interesting. The detail in this game is absolutely insane because look at that. This next myth is if you take somebody and you break them out of prison, basically, the police officers will recognize him if you take him to the jail in Saint Denis. So I have this prisoner here. I am now taking him inside the jail, and it just says kidnapping as of now. This lady's running. Okay. I guess I'm kidnapping, myth busted. Now, also with the prisoner is if you release him, the police officers will recognize him if he's running around the city. So I want to follow him, and honestly, I just need to see him run past a police officer. And oh, it looks like there's one up here actually. And the police officer does nothing, so that myth is busted. This next myth I found out is more of a gameplay feature, but I didn't personally know it, so I still have to test it. But you can actually ask for rides around town if you call out for people. So I'm gonna call this guy out. And look at that, you have an option to request a ride. Now, could you please comment below if you knew this was something that you could do in the game? Okay, can I just go on the ride? That's amazing. This myth is confirmed. You can get rides. Another myth that also has to kind of do with requesting of rides is you can actually ride on the side of these wagons as well. Without actually asking him, you can just hold on to the side. And look at that, he'll just go. That's amazing. Will he keep driving though? No, he will not. But still, you can ride on the side of the wagons. Myth confirmed. This next myth, if you go to this specific house close to Valentine, you will get infinite amount of beer. So I think this was interesting if I just go in, and yes, you can grab beer, and it doesn't necessarily look like there is a max limit, so I'm gonna try and drink as many as I possibly can quick. Okay, I've chugged like maybe 10, and there is no limit. This myth is confirmed. But what's interesting enough is this leads into our next myth. Apparently, if you're drunk, using Deadeye is affected. So I'm just trying to use her. I'm gonna put Deadeye. I'm right on her, and my reticle is directly on her, and it looks like yes, it does affect your Deadeye. So that myth is confirmed. If you're drunk, it's gonna be harder to shoot people with Deadeye. For this next myth, I think it's very interesting. Apparently, if you have a person or a ped with a high hat, you can have it stick to the wall if you throw a knife at it. So let's see if this hat will stick to the wall. That was a pretty solid shot, and it did not work. So for me, I'm gonna say this myth is busted. This next myth, and this is another thing that is not really a myth, but more of a gameplay feature, which I found out personally, is you can actually buy things from vendors that don't have any blimps on the map. So this guy right here, he doesn't have a blimp on the map, but apparently I can just buy stuff. So there's this venison here, and I can actually buy it. Now that is so interesting to me. I never knew you could do that. Another thing is if you go to the vendors here where the trapper is, you can examine and you can buy fruit here as well. This myth is confirmed. I mean, that is amazing. Again, I didn't know this was something. You probably did. But for me, this is something I had no idea you could do. So it was a myth for me, technically. This next myth, if you wear a bear outfit, grizzly bears or very scary bears, the bears that attack you, the grizzlies, will not attack you. Okay, that It's not true at all. Myth busted. This next myth, if you shoot a grizzly bear in the paws, it will stop chasing you. So I'm having a grizzly bear right here. I've shot him twice in the paw. Oh, wow. No way. No way. Okay. He actually... I want to try it one more time, though, I feel. But he's not attacking me. Is he running away? Okay, yeah, this myth is confirmed. The grizzly bears will stop attacking you if you shoot their paws. This next myth is you can create a whirlpool, basically making the water go in circles if you run in circles. So if you've never done this as a kid, you basically, I guess you could do it in Red Dead. I've done this for a while. Let's look at the water, and it does look like it's rotating, but I want to do it one more time just to be sure. I'm going to do it around this statue. All right, we're on the statue. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty solid evidence. This myth is confirmed. You can create whirlpools in RDR2. For this next myth, there is a special interior inside the UFO. So if you didn't know, you could go to this spot at night at a specific time. A UFO will appear like it is right now. And apparently, there is a special interior into this UFO. So I want to try to go fast. And oh, wow. Okay, so the UFO disappears nearly instantly, so for me, this is busted. I have a lot of myths I still have to bust, but let me know if you could do this. For this next myth, you can actually kill somebody by just shoving them multiple times. I have no idea how long this is going to take, but we're going to go however long it needs to take. I have this victim here. No specific reason. He just looked pushable. We're going to keep pushing him here. And, oh, that was a solid one. That one might have injured him. Ooh, okay, so I did injure him. He's holding on to his right arm. Okay, update. We're still doing this pretty long. And okay, he just juked me out, so he's clearly feeling good. Wow, that was actually pretty wild. I've never been juked out by an NPC. Update, we are in the mud area now. And now he is pretty much full of mud and destroyed. I still feel like this is something that can work, so I am going to keep doing it. His hat hasn't fallen off, which is really interesting. I'll give you another update in like 5 minutes.
Perhaps you're unaware, but you have a little dirt on you. I'm sorry.
I love that the other NPC notices he's absolutely filthy. Another update, we are still going. It's been probably 15 minutes in real life at this point. I think I'm getting close. I'm probably gonna give it like 5 more minutes though. But I'm gonna keep pushing him and see what happens. All right, we're still going. I think I'm close. There's no way. It's been another like 5 minutes. We're probably 20 minutes into this now. I think it's getting close, hopefully. Let's hopefully, there we go. Okay, I'm about to probably call it. So I push him here. Oh my goodness, yes! This myth is confirmed. You can actually kill somebody by shoving them multiple times. It's gonna take you about 30 minutes, but it works. All right, this next myth, which I really think is interesting, is supposedly you can kill a police officer just by antagonizing an NPC. So I've obviously been antagonizing him. This might take a while though, because he's got to purposely... Oh, never mind! This myth is confirmed. You can kill a police officer just by antagonizing another NPC. Now, if you're still here, you know that the second myth we busted was me trying to fall on hay bales and not dying. So I figured, well, in Minecraft, if you fall on a bed, you won't die. So let's see if you can do that in Red Dead Redemption 2. And... Oh, no, he is dead. Oh, the myth is busted. You will die if you fall on beds. This next myth, or myths, is more of a collection of myths. It has to do with being in the cemetery. So supposedly, if you have very low honor, and you walk through the cemetery, you will hear interesting things and sounds and whispers of ghosts. So I'm just gonna walk straight through the cemetery, and just kind of see if this is true. I'm hearing people talk about vampires, but I think that's just normal dialogue in the game. Nothing really crazy here.
Howdy. Damn idiot, man.
Okay, people are saying I'm not supposed to be here. Don't know if that's something special, guy. I haven't heard anything. There's nothing crazy here. The second myth to this is if you go in with high honor, you will also hear something special. So I'm gonna walk through this at night with high honor and see if anything happens. Okay, guys, I'm still walking and I don't really hear anything. Oh, actually, I do. I'm just kidding. The myths are busted. You don't hear anything. All right, another myth with a cemetery, just to knock these cemetery ones out, is if you walk through at night in a thunderstorm, you will supposedly hear something. So I'm gonna wait and figure it out. Okay, guys, I've been waiting here most of the night. It's almost morning time. I heard nothing. Myth busted. This next myth is that workers actually work. Now, I always see these workers work, but I want to see if I can create a time lapse of them. So let's find out. Okay, this is confirmed. Workers actually do work. If you saw in the beginning, there was none of these cotton bales, and now there is. And also, if you go over here, a little bonus here, they do put bags there, and they do accumulate over time. That is amazing. This next myth is if you stand here and watch a guy performing on the street, you will build a crowd. And look, already, I guess, there's a crowd. I'm going to say right away this is confirmed, but that leads us into our next myth, is if you antagonize the guy that's performing, people will be mad at you. Let's see.
Just stop.
You made
Oh.
a mistake and you messed with the wrong bitch today.
I wasn't even talking to her because I remember I said stop.
Who in the hell do you think you are?
Myth confirmed. You will make other NPCs mad if you antagonize the performer. This next myth, if you go over to Blackwater, you will see this specific lady drawing one of the most beautiful pictures ever, and right away, this is more advanced than any other pictures I've seen an NPC draw. It looks like a mermaid of some sorts, or I don't know if it's a mermaid, but yeah, this myth is confirmed. For this next myth, if you head over to the Blackwater movie theater, they actually have advanced machines now that run the movie instead of a person. So if we come over here, as we can clearly see, these are more advanced ways to show the movies. I actually had no idea this was even in the game, but this is such a cool thing. The detail is absolutely insane. So this myth is confirmed. Blackwater does have advanced machines to play the movies. For this next myth, you can see the outcome of an individual NPC when they're hunting. So I've never really done this before. I've seen other NPCs kind of hunt before, but I've never fully followed them. So let's see if we can see the outcome here. He's just shooting at a bear right now, and the grizzly is coming at him. Okay. So for the outcome for this guy, it wasn't the best, but you can see it. I was over here on, let me show you, right here on the map. This is where I found this specific NPC, but that myth is confirmed. You can see their outcome. Now for this next myth, I actually saw this a very, very long time ago, but apparently if you're riding with Arthur or any of the main characters such as John, you can actually smash your head off of a branch. So I just have to find a branch that I can do this with, and you'll fall off your horse. Okay, this is a good, will I fall off? Okay, the entire tree went through the horse. This myth is busted. You cannot fall off of your horse from a tree. This might work for you, though. All right, this next myth is movie theater screens are literally invincible. And as you can see, that myth is confirmed right away. The fire bottle went right through the screen. That leads us to our next myth, is that the movie theater projectors are invincible. And as you can see, that is confirmed. Wow, very interesting. Now, this next myth is you actually can't kill anybody when the movie is starting, but if you place a stick of dynamite, can you light it up when the movie starts? Let's see. People are in here now. I can ignite it technically. Oh my gosh, is it gonna blow up? Confirmed! You can technically kill people if you set up dynamite beforehand. This next myth, which I find very interesting, is you can, I guess, sink somebody's boat just by shooting it. I have God mode on, so he can't kill me. Like that. Confirmed, you can sink someone else's boat. The myth I'm about to test now is going to be very long and has never been tested before from what I know, and could honestly be in its own separate video. So obviously you can greet basically any NPC in the world. Now Arthur has a special line where he asks an NPC what time it is. Now the myth is supposedly NPCs that are located in a more poor area will react by not knowing the time. Rather, if you talk to an NPC that's in a more rich area, they will know the time. Now what makes this myth very long and hard to do is that Arthur doesn't automatically say this line right away, and you have to basically trigger it by saying hi to a million people. All right, been doing this for a while now. Still haven't gotten him to say it. Here it is. Okay, so he didn't reply. Okay, so now apparently, supposedly, that answer will be different if I ask it into a rich part of this city.
No problem. Thank you.
Let's see if this is a difference.
Hello there.
This is more of a higher end area.
Mister. Hello. Got any idea
Here we go.
what time it is?
Sorry, I don't know.
Oh my goodness, so there is no difference.
Take care now.
Okay, the myth is technically busted, and I spent like 2 hours talking to people.
Hey,
That's really
I'll do
sad.
this.
All right, guys,
Hey, mister.
on to the next myth. This next myth is also when it comes to talking to
Easy
people.
now.
Supposedly, you can basically talk to people around the same area, and if you run into the same person that you've talked to, Arthur will have a special line of dialogue. So I'm just going to keep talking to people and see if I run into the same person. I've been talking to people, and I haven't ran into the same person, but now I'm gonna keep walking more around where I was. Nope. Still, so far, I haven't seen nothing.
Hello, once more.
Oh, there it is!
You probably don't even remember me.
Look at that.
Anyway,
It is
don't
confirmed! There is a special line of dialogue if you run into the same NPC. For this next myth, if you use a fire arrow, it will actually melt the snow around it. So let's see, that's the fire arrow, and it looks like, kind of looks like it melted the snow, but I want to try a regular arrow next. Regular arrow, and let's see. It looks the exact same, unfortunately busted. All right, this next myth is if you have a torch, wolves will leave you alone apparently at night. So I have a torch. Apparently he's not supposed to hit me, and that... Okay, maybe I didn't do it right. I'm gonna hold the torch again. Maybe I'm gonna run around. Okay, yeah. I don't think this is gonna work. I feel like this should work, though. Maybe they'll leave me alone now. No, they're not gonna leave me alone. This myth is busted. Okay. This next myth is if you go over to an alligator-infested or crocodile area, if you go under the water, they will not attack you. So in the game, you actually can't dive underwater, but with mods, you can do that. So I'm going to use a mod to get me under the water. I do want to find where an alligator or crocodile is. Here's one. I'm going to try to go under the water. Now, he might not attack me now. Or supposedly, he's not supposed to attack me. Let's see. Okay, I'm fully immersed under the water. Or submerged. I don't see anything. I'm going to wait a little longer. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I'm not getting attacked. So technically this myth is confirmed. However, I am using mods, so that might be the reason for it. Next myth. This next myth, if you are wearing all animal clothes and pelts and stuff like that, which I have on right now, you will supposedly attract more of the animals around your area. So I'm going to go to a wooded forest area and just wait. I have waited a little bit, and the only thing I have gotten towards me is bounty hunters, so this myth is busted. No more animals are around me. This next myth, most of you already probably know, is you cannot drown your horse. Now, I've actually never tried this, but I've heard it so many times, so I'm just going to keep going. It's been a little bit. His stamina's over, and he just bucks me off. So yeah, this myth is confirmed. Your horse will not drown. Now, this next myth is an interesting one. Supposedly, if you leave a metaled weapon on a cliff, it will attract lightning. So it's currently lightning and thundering out now, and we're just gonna wait and see if it strikes my weapon. Been waiting for probably about 10 minutes now in this thunderstorm, and nothing has happened yet. That's the weapon here. It's a metal weapon. I think it's just a cattleman revolver, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. And I'm gonna move to a different spot because maybe this is just not a good mountain. All right, we're by another cliff slash mountain. We're gonna wait and see if it gets struck by lightning. So yeah, we're just gonna wait. In about another 10-15 minutes, and nothing is happening. I have seen lightning in other areas, but I'm gonna say this is busted, but maybe it works for you. For this next myth, if you take dynamite and you throw it into the water and kill the fish, their dead bodies will float up to the shore. Now, I also heard with this myth, another kind of variant of it is that they would fly up into the shore, but that just did not work. So I'm pretty convinced, though, that they will end up floating up the shore if they're dead. So I'm going to keep trying this as many times as I can. We're going to try it here. And honestly, I think I just need to find a fish and follow it. So I'm going to keep throwing dynamite into this water until basically I get one that I can follow that's dead. So let's come over to this area, try it again. And I still, honestly, I know I'm killing them because the red X on the reticle, but I haven't seen any yet. So I'm gonna keep going. Okay, let's go. Let's try it here. I feel like I can probably find one from there. That was a pretty easy shot. Maybe I'm just obliterating them and they're just like being destroyed there. Okay, here's one. Here's one that I killed. That one is fully dead. As you can see, it doesn't look like he's swimming at all. So I'm gonna follow him down shore. Okay, where did he go? Where did he go? Where did Mr. Flippers go? I don't see him. No, did I really lose him? I swear I just saw him, though. Okay, here we go. I think I see him again. He was right. There he is! Mr. Flippers! Now, he's not swimming, so if I pick him up, I think he's just dead. And yes, technically, this myth is confirmed. If you blow a fish up with dynamite, their dead body will float up to shore. This next myth, during a thunder slash rainstorm, if you throw a fire bottle in the air, it will extinguish. And that is obviously not true. I'll try it one more time. More time in the rain, and it still is working. So this myth is busted. It does not extinguish in the air. Now this next myth, which was really interesting, is apparently if you shoot somebody's holster, it'll disarm them. Let's see. I didn't think that was gonna work. That is confirmed. You can disarm somebody by shooting their holster. Now, this next myth, this has been something that's been tested so many times. Can you actually break the ice? I'm gonna use mods for this because I haven't seen people use mods with this. I have a cannonball mod where I'm just having cannonballs hit the ice as hard as it can. And on impact, it's not doing anything. I'm gonna keep going though. Okay, guys, this myth is busted. If you didn't know it already, now you do. Now, this myth is actually pretty interesting, but supposedly, if there's something above an NPC's head, they actually cannot die. So I've spawned a rock over this NPC's head, and all I really have to do is bump the rock, and it should fall, and okay, it just rolled over his head. So, what do you know? This myth is confirmed, I guess. The next myth is animal carcasses will stop a train. And that is a big bust. It does not do that. Now, this myth is actually a little bit cruel and quite sad, but supposedly, if you end up hitting your horse enough and abusing it, basically, it will actually end up becoming very skittish even if you walk around it. So, we're just going to keep hitting this horse as he consistently hits me back repetitively. Keep going in the face. That was a good little neck shot I had there, and let's keep going. All right, I have been abusing him for a while now, probably 15 minutes straight. Remember, this is YouTube, don't take it down. This is just a video game, and right away, as you can see, he's kind of breathing a little bit heavily. You know what? I'm going to say this is confirmed because he's acting a little weird. Confirmed for me, but maybe it's different for you. Now, I was actually pretty surprised by the outcome of this myth. Supposedly, if you have a very clean gun, perfect gun, and you shoot in a warm weather climate versus a cold weather climate, their fire rates are different. So I'm going to show you the warm weather one and the cold weather one side by side, and you can determine whether or not one of them is different. That's basically the same, so I'm going to say this myth is busted. The fire rate doesn't change. This next myth, I feel like I already kind of have the answer for, but I still want to test it out. Supposedly, if you are filthy, the barber will refuse service on cutting your hair. So let's see if he won't cut my hair. And it looks like no. The barber will still cut my hair. He will not refuse service. This myth is busted. This next myth is if you slowly follow an NPC, they will say something eventually. So we're just following this guy. And yes, he does say something. So this myth is confirmed. NPCs do not like to get followed, and they will say something. This myth is pretty interesting, but I feel like I already know it. You can shoot a ped through wood. So let's see. I'm trying to line it up perfectly here. There's the red dot. The red dot does disappear when I go through the wood, so let's see. And yeah, it doesn't look like you can shoot them through wood. I'm sure that there's other things you can shoot them through, but this specific type of wood that I'm using does not work, so busted. You can't shoot NPCs through wood. If you shoot a bear, if you're in a tree or up above, they will run away, and look at that. That is immediately confirmed. You can shoot a bear from a great height, and they will run away. If you kill an NPC in a snowy area, or just drag an NPC here, eventually their body will be covered with snow days later. So we're gonna basically wait days later. All right, it's days later, and yeah, the snow is covered around him, so this myth is confirmed. For this myth, if NPCs in a town see that you're being attacked by an animal, they will help out. So let's see, I just spawned in a grizzly bear. I want him to attack me. You can see I've done this more than once by the marks I've already had, and no one is helping whatsoever. I don't know if it's because I spawned him in. Maybe that's different, but yeah, nobody helped. This myth is busted. If you steal a horse, so I'm going to steal this horse here, and if you come back a day later, you will get wanted for stealing that horse. They will remember the fact that you stole a horse. So my honor went down, so that was clearly somebody's horse. I am going to rest in this swampy area and hope the horse stays here overnight. Okay, and the horse is still here. So now all we have to do is go back into Rhodes, and supposedly we will be wanted. All right, I'm back in Rhodes. I'm not going to cause any trouble. I'm not going to... Doesn't sound like anyone's saying anything so far. Obviously, I'm not even in the city yet, but we'll see, or the town yet. Okay, a little bit further in. I'm gonna go further. It does. This is where I stole it. Nobody's saying anything different, so I'm gonna say this myth is busted. You will not be wanted if you steal a horse and come back a day later. The fire will spread differently based in a swampy area versus a dry area. So obviously this is more of a swampy area, and the fire is spread pretty large, as we can see right here. Pretty good, decent size. Now that I'm in a very dry desert area, supposedly this will spread even further. Okay, so that spread decently. I don't know specifically if it was bigger. I'll probably have to put something up in the editing and then see what it looks like. Okay, actually it looks like the one in the swampy area was further, but so I guess this is busted. It does not get bigger in a deserty area, but it could be different for you. If you look at the sun for a long time, it will affect your aiming. I don't know who thought about this as a myth. This is a pretty easy test, but we're gonna find out. I do know that your eyes will dilate if you look at the sun. Okay, I've been staring at the sun for a while, and I'm gonna see if it affects my aim. I can still aim at this guy. This myth is busted. It does not affect your aim if you just look at a sun for a while. If you put a dead animal around where you fish, you will not get any fish. That's the myth, and I highly doubt that's true, but we're gonna still find out and see if it works out. Gonna put my bait in. I have a dead animal by me, so, and look at that. I've caught it. Looks like I'm gonna catch a fish here. This isn't the last time we're gonna do a fish myth, so for right now, this one is busted though. You will still catch fish if you're by a dead animal. You can actually see the movie theater conductor, I guess you could call it, actually switching the pictures. This is the guy that has to direct the movie, basically. Wow! The individual pictures he does have to move, so that is confirmed. Awesome. This next myth is that your horse's stamina will drain a lot faster on a windy day. So right now the wind is a minimum. There's no wind, and I'm just gonna try and see how quickly I can drain this guy's stamina. Went kind of far, his stamina went low. I want to try to go the same distance and see if it drains quicker. All right, as you can see, I've upped the wind a lot. We're gonna see if this affects my horse's stamina. Is full right now. Well, let's start riding, and I'm gonna slow him down. You know, I think I went a little bit further. For me, I'm gonna say it's busted, but it could be different for you. This next myth is a little bit interesting, actually. Supposedly, if you spawn in a snake, which I'm gonna spawn in a venomous one, and if you get bit by it with gloves, it will not infect you. So I just got bit by the snake there, and as you can see, I had a little bit of the logo that said I was poisoned. So now we're gonna try it by me putting on gloves. So I have gloves, I've respawned, and supposedly, I will not get infected with the poison from the snake. Let's find out. I need him to bite me. Okay, and... oh, there's the poison logo. Myth busted. You still get poisoned if you have gloves on if you get bit by a snake. If you go fishing thunderstorm, or in a thunderstorm, you will get bigger fish. So I just fished with the same... I'm going to use the same bait as well. I'm fishing in a normal weather, and now we're going to fish in a thunderstorm, and I will supposedly get a bigger fish. So that one was like 1 pound and 9 ounces, and this one is a... let's find out. It's a thunderstorm. 1 pound and 7 ounces. So technically... this myth is busted. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh man. That was a little freaky. Okay, myth busted. You can see the alcohol being brewed if you no-clip through here, and no. There is no actual alcohol being brewed here. So, there you go. This myth is busted, but this is still pretty interesting to be able to see the insides of these. Your footprints will rinse off faster in deep rain versus light rain. So I'm putting some footprints on the ground now, and I'm gonna first start off with very light rain, just a drizzle, to see if it washes away my footprints at a specific rate. And we're just gonna wait for a little bit. Okay, it's been like 5 minutes, and it doesn't look like there was any difference. So now we're gonna try deep rain. Okay, we have deep rain now, and actually... honestly, a little bit. It looks like it actually made the footprints a little bit deeper. So it doesn't seem like they affected him as washing him away. So technically the myth is busted, but it did actually look like it made him deeper with the deeper rain. So, or the heavier rain. You can shoot dynamite out of the air. Now, I know the answer to this, but you might not. We're going to try this out and see if it works on like the first attempt here. Can I get it? Can I get it? Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. There it is! You can hit it! That looks actually so cool. In Deadeye as well. Oh my goodness, just slowing it down for you. Wow! If you drink coffee before bed, supposedly your stamina will be decreased in the morning. So I drank coffee, as you can see, my cores are full. Now, if I go to bed right away, I guess my stamina is supposed to get drained, which would make sense in real life. If you had coffee before bed, it would probably be a tough night of sleep. Let's see. And yeah, my stamina is still perfect. So that myth is busted. Your stamina does not drain if you drink coffee before bed. All right, this next myth one is interesting, but I just wanted to try it. If you stand by a campfire long enough, I guess your clothes will burn. So I wasn't too close to the campfire. I know you could probably get burned by the campfire, but as you can see, my clothes have no effect. Myth is technically busted. If you put a NPC that is dead by a dead carcass, the animals or the birds will prefer the fresh option better. So I have my NPC here. Let me reposition him a little bit. There you go. He's a little bit closer now. So now I'm just going to go to a distance. I'm going to basically just observe. Here's our first bird. Does he wreck? Oh, Right away, he went to the fresh body. Okay, that's only one bird, though. I want to wait a little bit. Another bird here. Does he still choose the fresh option? It looks like, yeah, he's choosing the fresh option for this one. This myth is confirmed, technically. Animals or birds will prefer the fresh option rather than the dead carcass. This is not a myth, but it's just cool, is that your camp will react if you have a legendary animal.
Charles?
Nice. Hunted a big one, huh?
If you go to the camp when you are near Valentine, Strauss has a book. Supposedly, it actually has stuff you can read. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, technically, you could read this. It's not the clearest thing, but there are actual words that are visible in there. So technically, this myth is confirmed. He's technically reading something, I guess. All right, this next myth is a little sad, but it is still interesting. Supposedly, animals will mourn the death if another animal dies. So obviously, I'm having a trouble killing this cow. So now other cows should go around him and maybe feel sad. Let's see if any other cows react. This one cow is interested, but quickly turned away. So, I mean, one cow did act differently, but that's pretty much it. I do want to try this one more time with pigs, since pigs are technically pretty intelligent. All right, let's see if other pigs are sad that his friend died. And okay, so they do get skittish, of course, since I just killed one of them and gonna have bacon. So technically, no, animals don't get sad. This could be different for other animals, though. So for now, this myth is busted. Other animals that are typically not around the same biome or region will attack each other. So I'm gonna spawn a panther, and a grizzly bear supposedly should attack, or the panther should attack. And whoa, the panther is actually running away, and the bear was chasing him away. Or it might have been chasing me. I'm gonna try that again. Okay, I'm gonna spawn a panther again. Okay, so the bear does attack the panther. So the myth is already confirmed. Supposedly, if you get wanted and then change your horse and your outfit, they will not be able to find you. So I do have to go a little bit of ways. I'm gonna change my outfit as quickly as I can, but I first need to get a new horse. I'm gonna try to get a new horse quickly. Come on, hurry, hurry. I have a horse. Now I just need to change my outfit, and I guess they won't be able to recognize me. Hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. Oh, he still found out. I'm gonna try that one more time. So I'm using mods, but you could probably do this without it by just having a horse nearby and going over to it and switching your outfit. I switched my outfit again. The law is searching, and I'm even gonna put a mask on. Okay, he immediately knows me. So guys, for me, this is busted, but I've been trying this for a while. Maybe it's different for you. Supposedly these logs are indestructible and will not move. And yes, wow, okay. I thought they were actually gonna be able to move. I'll try it again. Okay. Let me try these ones just to kind of double check to make sure. But I'm pretty much, they're all the same. So yes, this myth is confirmed. These logs are indestructible. This next myth, if you shoot the electric wires, sparks will fly. No. I want to try it again. I want to make sure I have the right shot on. No. There is no electricity pulsating from here. Maybe it's because electricity is different back then. I don't know. But for right now, this myth is busted. But I will be coming back to these later. For this myth, you can climb a tree. Obviously, just doing this, it doesn't seem like I can climb a tree, but if I have a wagon, maybe that'll be a little bit different. So I have this U.S. Army wagon I spawned. Let me see if I can climb this tree. Oh, I accidentally jumped right up to the side. Try that again. No, I'm tripping pretty hard, so you can technically not climb a tree. And it looks like my body went through it a couple times. So no, this myth is busted. You cannot climb a tree. You will see a shark in Guarma. Now, this has been something I've been trying for a very long time. Now, I have seen somebody do this and trigger a shark, but I'm going to keep trying for a little bit longer and see if I can actually trigger it. But as of right now, it's busted for me. It has been a solid 30 minutes of me loading back in and out of the game to see if I can trigger it. For me, this myth is busted. All right, this next myth is you can still hit somebody if your throwing knife ricochets off of the rock. As you see, I just tried it and it hasn't worked. And I haven't been able to hit him even though this knife is ricocheting off the rock and technically hitting him, but there's no damage. Nothing working still. Trying to get as close as I can. No. I don't think this will work. So yeah, technically, you cannot hit somebody if it ricochets off the rock. This is busted. This next myth is you can shoot somebody through fabric and actually damage them. So I have somebody spawned here, and look, there's still a red rectangle. And did I get him? I want to see the damage on them. Oh, you can see on their back. Yes, you can shoot somebody. This myth is confirmed. You can shoot people through fabric. If you do a max bet when you're playing blackjack, you'll get a secret response from another NPC. Let's see, I'm doing a max bet.
Do I detect some swagger in your stride?
Okay, now this might not be a secret response, but I do think that that's very interesting. I also did lose the hand, so that sucks. Now, supposedly there is a secret tunnel in Saint Denis. Now, I don't want to hear anybody in the comments saying that this was not a myth. I genuinely believed it was a myth, and when I found this out for the first time, I was actually very surprised, because I've heard about this, but I never knew it was an actual thing, and you can literally run through this entire tunnel. I can't tell you how long I've been exploring Saint Denis, and you can just come right back onto the docks, and there it is. So for me, this was a myth, and it is confirmed. For this next myth, which I find to be probably most of you know, is you can block the image from the movie by using your feet. And yes, my foot is blocking the image of the movie, and nobody's really reacting to it, but this is confirmed. Arthur is close to smoke from a cigar or cigarette, he will cough. So I'm really close to this guy right now, as close as he'll let me. I might move a little bit here. Okay, here we go. And oh, there you go, right into my nose. Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Been about 3 minutes, he's walked away. Arthur did not cough one time, so this myth is busted. Arthur does not cough as smoke's near him. If you walk through a police station with the police outfit, the police officers will treat you differently.
Hey,
So I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to greet all of them, and then I'm going to come back in without a police outfit and see what happens. Okay?
hello.
They seemed pretty fine with me. I'm gonna come in, and if they're gonna act, they should act differently now that I do not have a police outfit. So let's find out. Gonna walk in, do the same thing by greeting them. Greet this guy first.
Hello, officer. Hey.
Okay, so this myth is busted. Officers do not treat you differently if you're wearing a police outfit. Now, there are going to be a few myths being tested on this specific segment. So one of the first myths and biggest myths that we're going to test at the end is that dynamite will ignite simultaneously. So basically a chain reaction of dynamite. But before that, I want to test some more myths. One myth is that you can light dynamite by a spark on the ground with a throwing knife, and throwing it pretty hard on the ground, I don't really see a spark, but it's not necessarily igniting it at all. I want to see if you just throw it straight at the dynamite stick if it'll explode, so I'm going to back up for this one. I feel like it would explode here. There's a red... Oh, okay. I guess not. That is not going to work. Let's try an axe and see if that would work. A little bit heavier. And no, it's just falling off of it. Now, okay, let me try it one more time. Okay, no, still. Okay, so another myth is if you drop a torch by it, supposedly it would also ignite the dynamite. So let's drop it back up. Really? Okay, I actually did think that it actually made one of them disappear. Okay, well, let's see if there's a chain reaction. And yes, that is confirmed. So we have a few busts and then one confirmed. Sticking with dynamite, supposedly if a trolley runs over it, it will ignite. So I have the dynamite perfectly on the railroad track. Let's see if the trolley will destroy it, and no. That is busted. Having dynamite directly on the track and the trolley going over it will not explode the dynamite. Going into this next myth, if you hold a fire bottle long enough, it will explode in your hand. This is something, surprisingly, I've never tried, but we're gonna hold it for a very long time, walk around, maybe intimidate some people, and see if this actually ends up working. I've been holding this for maybe 5 minutes. I've sped up the footage, obviously, and so far, it has done nothing. It does scare some people, but it has not exploded in my hand as of this moment, so for now, this myth is busted. But maybe if you try it, you could have a different outcome. But for me, like I said, it is busted. On to the next myth. If you end up coming over to any clock in the world, it will move in real time. So basically, I'm going to put this on a time lapse and it should move, and look at that. Right away, this myth is already confirmed. Clocks work in real time in game. Now, this next myth is more of a feature, I guess, but I didn't know this was a thing. If you go into any saloon or any area in which people eat, if you go over to where people are having specific types of food, you can actually see them cut specific slices. So I'm gonna watch this guy and see if he ends up cutting into the... Oh, there we go. She did it. Let's come over to him and look. Wow, so that was literally a perfect cut. I've seen videos of this, but I didn't know if they were real or modded. But look at that. Does he actually pick up some stuff and put it... Dude, the detail is so insane. This myth is confirmed. Beautiful. Now, if we stay over here and we head over to the piano man, supposedly he's actually playing the piano, and look at that. Right away, this myth is confirmed. He's actually hitting the keys and playing the piano. The detail is absolutely insane. Now, when we stay in this spot, we can also see that there are apparently invincible paintings. So even if I throw an axe at it, there will be no marks left over from the axe. So I'm going to do 3 just for extra measure. And let's see if this painting is indeed invincible. And if we look at it, yeah, there are no marks on the painting. This myth is, weirdly, I guess, confirmed. staying in Saint Denis, if we go over to something that I've never been seen tested really, is that the garbage cans will be emptied in the morning. So I just showed you one during the evening. We're gonna head to bed, and now it's morning time. And look, the garbage is pretty much the same. I'm gonna show you guys the same pictures side by side, and as you can see, the lighting is different, but I think the garbage has stayed the exact same. So the myth is busted. They do not get emptied. Now, if we head over to this bell, you can actually hear the bell ring if you shoot it. And yes, that bell does ring if you shoot it. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. This myth is confirmed. This is actually kind of sad, but if you end up killing a guy that has a horse of any kind or knocking him out even, supposedly their horse will do something weird after you kill its owner. So I ended up taking his deer that he had on the back of his horse for no particular reason, only in the fact that I wanted a deer. But the big myth here, that's what we're testing to see if this horse does anything different. Supposedly the horse will act weird for a long time. So we're going to wait and just kind of see. It's been about 15 minutes. The horse is just looking at its knocked out owner. I didn't actually kill the owner. That might be different, but I just want to test it being knocked out. So we're going to wait even longer to see if this horse actually ends up doing anything. And as you can see, time is going by rapidly and the horse hasn't moved. It has been so long, maybe 30, 15, it's almost nighttime now. Horse hasn't done anything. I'm going to bust it, but maybe for you, something else actually happens. Now, this myth is pretty cool. This one is just kind of cool, is that the mountains go over the clouds. I never actually tested that, and this isn't really a myth. This is just something that I thought was cool. The real myth here is that you can go sledding on a turtle shell. Now, when I immediately heard of this, I had to try it. So I've hauled up this turtle up this mountain. Now, I'm at a spot where I believe you can only access through mods by free camming your way over here. I wanted to find a really good mountain, and I'm trying to obviously put this turtle up here, but it's not okay, I guess I'm skinning him. I didn't mean to do that. All right, we're back up, and now this is the real test. I'm going to drop the turtle, and I think if I just walk... Can I walk on him? Okay, maybe I have to jump on him. Okay. Now, I haven't showed you this, but I have been trying this for a little bit of time, as you can see by the other trails. I'm going to bust this, but if you guys can do this, please let me know, but it's busted for me. If we go over to any jail, apparently you will not get wanted if you kill or hurt the people in the jail cell. So I'm going to... attack this man and end up killing him, and it looks like I'm not wanted. I'm gonna try on the other cell as well, but as of right now I'm not wanted, but so far the sheriffs do not care if you kill people in the jail cell. Let's see if this guy will do the same. Now I've choked him out, and yes, myth confirmed. The sheriffs in the jail do not care if you kill people that are in jail. This myth is very interesting. Supposedly the waterfalls you see, specifically this waterfall you see here, will look like snowflakes. And I mean, yes, it does technically look like snowflakes are falling down in this waterfall. This myth is confirmed. Now, if we stay in the water, supposedly, you will be able to see fish eating the carcass of a dead body. So I've actually never tried this, surprisingly enough, and I've killed a lot of NPCs in this game. And, oh, right away we see that fish are surrounding him. I'm going to give this some time, though, because I'm not sure. Obviously, that one fish looked like he took a bite out of him. But I'm going to give it some time and talk to you in like 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. The fish are not scared by this NPC by any means, but they are circling him, and it does look like they actually are eating him. But I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Been about another 3 minutes. I've seen fish kind of nibbling on him, so I am going to confirm this. Fish do eat dead bodies that are placed in water. If you end up looking at an NPC long enough, whether they're doing a scenario or something that Rockstar puts into place, you'll actually see them go back to their original camp spot. So I ended up seeing these guys who are, I believe, cannibals. I don't know the exact name of these people, but supposedly they're going to go back to their camps, and they live pretty much like a dynamic life. So we're going to follow them. Been following them for a little bit. They've emptied out 2 bodies, and now I'm following them through the woods, and I think they'll end up going back to their campsite, but we're going to find out. Still following them. This should be the campsite they go back to, so let's see if they actually turn left here. And yes, okay, this myth is confirmed. I guess NPCs will go back to where they started from. Now, if you actually stay here, this isn't just for this specific area, but you can see the butcher cut individual cuts of meat, and let's look. Wow. Okay, that is super cool. This is something I've read about, but I've never actually took the time to look. This might not be a myth for you, but for me, this was. I didn't think this was actually real. And you can see, does he make more cuts out of the meat? I want to see if he actually... Look at that! That detail is crazy! This myth is confirmed for me. Butchers do actually cut their meat. Now, if we head over to this same area, supposedly a goat will always attack you here. I don't know if this is true. I've been around here for a little bit. I'm not sure what this... Oh my gosh. Okay, well, the myth is confirmed. You do get attacked by a goat, technically, in this specific area. Now, if we head over to any beaver dam or dams that the beavers have created, you can actually go inside them like a real beaver dam, and yes, you can. Now, this is only accessible through mods. I don't believe you can do this without mods, but this myth is confirmed. Beaver's dams actually work like a real beaver's dam. You head over to the tribal area where the Indian reservation is. The myth was that there's nothing in these tents, and right away I already saw some mats. There might not be anything in here. Let's see. And no, there actually is a campfire in here, and I believe the other one is used in a story mission, so there should be... Yes, this is the one. So yeah, this myth is busted. There are actually things in the tents in the Indian reservation area. Now, if you don't know, in certain areas or certain ways, your temperature will rise. So supposedly my temperature should rise in here. No, it's 44 degrees, but this water is boiling, so that myth is already busted. Your temperature does not rise if you go into one of these. Now, if you head over to any big, large area and you eat a poisonous plant, a lot of you probably already know this, but you can fall from any height and survive. This one I knew probably most of you knew, but I wanted to try because I didn't know if it would work for me, so myth is confirmed. Now, if you head over to the Fort Wallace entrance, supposedly you can actually go in there without causing any commotion. So I believe if you cause commotion, you'll actually open up the gates and you can walk in and shoot up the whole place. But apparently, there's a secret entrance somehow. So I'm going to walk around and see if saying hi will maybe work. I'm going to keep walking and let you know if any updates. And still, I haven't found any glitches or areas to get in. This is probably something that most of you might know better than me. Can you actually get in here without any mods or anything like that, or causing commotion? I've been walking around it for a very long time, saying hi to basically everybody, and nothing is really working. I'm about to bust this just for myself, but could you please let me know in the comments, because I thought this was actually possible, but for me, it is busted. You head over to the train tracks. Supposedly, if you whistle at the train when it comes at you, it will honk at you an extra time. So let's come over here. We're going to track the honkings here. Okay, so I think it gave me like 7 honks there from what I remember, from what I was able to count there. Maybe I counted differently. Let's try it again. This time I am going to whistle at it and see if it does anything. Okay, I think that was actually like 6. I think that was less. So technically, this myth is busted. It does not give you an extra honk. Sticking with the trains, supposedly the train horn will eventually run out. So this one's probably going to hurt my finger for a little bit, but I'm just going to hold the train's horn as long as I possibly can, and supposedly it will eventually run out. Okay guys, my thumb is absolutely killing me, and I feel like by now it would have stopped, so this myth is busted. The train's horn does not run out. Now, if we head over to this specific area where they're making more of the railroads, just like if you go into a specific mining area, you can actually get killed by the pickaxes. I want to see if this is possible here, and apparently it is. Let's go. Oh my gosh, that went right through my head. Okay, that was probably the best attempt I'm gonna get. For right now, that myth is busted for me. Now, if you head over here as well and you say hi to a bunch of these people, supposedly the foreman will yell at you as you're distracting the workers. Let's see. And yes, he does end up saying something, so that myth is confirmed. You can distract the workers. Now, if you actually stay in this area and you go to the main foreman, he will let you know that one of his workers is stealing money. So you end up finding this junior foreman. Now, supposedly, if you end up capturing him and then taking him to the prison or some sheriff's office or some jail, there will be a secret dialogue. So I have the man. We're going to go see if they say anything. And, I mean, he's a little shocked at the body, but other than that, nothing. This myth is busted. There is no secret dialogue. However, if you do end up staying in this specific area, and you want to know if you can get rid of bodies easily, well, supposedly, if you drop off basically an infinite amount of bodies, the sheriff will literally say nothing to you. So, here's the second body. Let's see if the sheriff says anything. And nothing really, nothing notable. I'm going to keep on bringing dead bodies to see if this is actually true, because if it is, that's actually kind of interesting. Here is another body. This is the third of the bodies. One of them did despawn, but that's okay. This is still the third body I've brought in here, and so far the sheriff really doesn't really care. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, that is like the 6th body, and yes, if you want to get rid of dead bodies, just bring him to the sheriff's office and he will say nothing. Now, if you head over to anybody that's committing a crime, supposedly, if you bring a bad man like this who's committing a crime into the jail, there will also be a secret dialogue. So let's see. Different guy, we're here in the Saint Denis jail. Let's see if they say anything. Coming on in. Now, it looks like... I don't know, actually. It looks like there might be some people that are maybe a little suspicious of this. Coming on in. So far, nobody's said anything. Not even the guy in the jail cell. No. There's literally no reaction from the sheriff whatsoever. Okay, that's actually interesting. I would assume that they would have said something because I'm bringing in a guy that is hogtie. But that leads us to the next myth, and that is if you have a guy that is mad at you, look at the red dot on the screen. He's clearly mad at me. He's an enemy. If I free him in front of police officers, they will end up shooting him for me, so I won't even have to do anything. So I'm going to untie him here, and supposedly I won't have to do anything. The police will take care of it. And yeah, okay, yes. I didn't think he was going to hit him right away. That was a really fast reaction time for the police officers. So yes, that myth is confirmed. Now, if you head over here to any fish, a lot of you might already know this, but if you hold the fish long enough, they'll die. As you can see, Arthur already confirmed it. Myth confirmed. If you bring a bald eagle into the police station, you'll get some interesting dialogue. And so, yeah, there is a reaction there by saying that. But nothing really too crazy that I would go crazy or think is special. But honestly, there is a reaction for sure, I feel. And so I'm going to say this is confirmed. If you bring a bald eagle into a police station, the police officers will say something that has to do with that. Now, is the same true with a dog? So I'm bringing in a dog now. The dog is sleeping and it is not dead.
Mother God!
Okay, so we did have that reaction. I haven't gotten any other, like, special dialogues or sentences that they've said, mostly just a spook. Yeah, I guess the myth is also confirmed. You can technically have some type of reaction if you bring a dog that's taking a nap. This myth might take a while, but if you head over to where you can get clothes, sometimes there's a pickpocketer that gets triggered and the animal will go through your head. Look at that. Yes. So if you are holding an animal and this animation gets triggered, the animal will go through your head. That myth is confirmed. That actually was a lot quicker than I ended up anticipating. Now, if you stay in Saint Denis and you put a body in the middle of the tracks, supposedly the trolley/train will not stop for the body. Let's find out. It is not slowing down whatsoever right now, and yes, it is just pushing the body. So that myth is confirmed. Bodies will not stop the trolley from stopping in Saint Denis. Now, supposedly, if you are just hanging out on this cross here, you will get struck by lightning rather quickly in a thunderstorm. So I just started the thunderstorm here. Okay, I thought I was gonna get struck there. That was right by me, but it didn't strike me specifically. But waiting here for maybe about 10 minutes and still nothing has happened. So this myth was supposed to be pretty quick, so this is busted. However, if you hold a metal weapon in the air, you will also have the same outcome rather quickly by getting struck by lightning. So I'm just holding this metal weapon in the air, just this typical revolver, and we'll wait a little bit and see. It's been 15 minutes, nothing has happened. I have seen lightning around me, but I'm pretty much ready to bust this myth. Nothing really happens. You do not get struck by lightning on the cross holding up a metal weapon. Now, if you come over to roads or any other area that has to do with sheriffs and you take the sheriff's hat, supposedly if you come back the next day, you will be wanted for taking their hat, or they'll know that you hurt the sheriff. So obviously I hurt that sheriff. I'm back the next day. I'm no longer wanted. Trying to say hi to people around me. Maybe I'll get wanted or not. Doesn't necessarily seem like it. Just saying hi to people. So far, nothing happened, but let's go to the sheriff's office. And let's see, no, I'm not wanted, so this myth is busted. However, if you do stay in the sheriff's office and you do search some drawer, they'll say something, so let's see if that's true or not. I'm going to search a drawer, and yes, he does say something, so that myth is confirmed. You can't just go around searching drawers. This next myth is you can free the donkey. I've never tried this, surprisingly, and confirmed. You can free the donkey. But also with this donkey, supposedly you can ride the donkey. So I'm going to come as close as I can to him, see if I can ride. I'm pressing Y, triangle for you PlayStation users, and it's not letting me go on the donkey, unfortunately. So this myth is busted. You cannot ride the donkey. If you stay over by roads, there is this special little house that supposedly has a hidden room. This is very close to roads, and this is only accessible through the mods because you have to have the free cam to be able to go and no clip through things. And right here is where the house or the room is. And yes, this is a special room, not typically accessed through anything. This is the house right here. You can find it. It's really close to roads. Wow, this is actually interesting. I had no idea this was in the game at all. And I wonder if you can stand inside of it. Yes, you can. Now, your feet aren't necessarily touching the floor, but this myth is confirmed. Now, if you head over to any real spot of the map that has a train that's going over a bridge, supposedly, just like on a railroad tracks or anything like that, if it's only over a bridge, it will move. So the bridge will kind of sway by the train's weight. So we're going to see if this bridge ends up moving since the train's going to go over it. My guess is probably not, but it would be a cool amount of detail to see this bridge move a little bit if the train goes over. So let's see, train's coming, and it's really not doing anything, so I'm going to say this myth is busted. The bridges do not shake or move when a train goes over it. If you end up killing somebody's horse, supposedly they will be very sad and they will go by the horse and start crying. I just killed this guy's horse, and he just seems extraordinarily mad. He's not really caring about his horse. I've backed away a little bit and I've come back. I actually might have went too far, but he was literally just trying to kill me, so this myth is busted. If you kill somebody's horse, they will not cry near their horse or mourn their horse. If we stay in the more of the wooded area, sometimes you'll get situations where you see somebody get kidnapped. Now, the myth is you can actually see the person that gets kidnapped by these bounty hunters actually turn them into jail. So I've been following this guy for a long time, and without mods, you would have already been killed by the new Austin sniper. But since I do have mods, I'm still following these people that are claiming to be bounty hunters that have taken this guy, and we're going to see if they drop him off at a jail or not. And so far, nothing has happened. I have been following this guy all night, like for 15-20 minutes, and they have rode in past the jail a million times. So I'm going to say this myth is busted. You can't actually see them go into the jail with the bounty. But speaking of this bounty, supposedly if you take their bounty and bring them into jail, you will get money for that bounty. Now, this is pretty easily triggered. As long as you walk around the map, you'll see something like this. So I just killed them. I'm going to take their bounty, and we are going to take them to what I feel is the nearest jail that will actually be triggered. Since Arthur can't really do anything in Blackwater, we're going to take him here to Strawberry, and let's see, will I get money? And no, I am just wanted immediately. Myth is busted. You cannot take somebody else's bounty and claim the reward. That's kind of unfortunate. Gutters actually work. So where you can find the most gutters is probably in Saint Denis. Now, this is interesting to me because, as you can see, this is the one that's not working. It's raining right now, but I have seen this work before, so I'm going to keep looking. Coming here, we have some more gutters. I'm seeing some of the water pool up, it looks like, but still, it is not falling out. Now, I have seen this work before, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. I have no idea. But for me, this myth is busted. I'm not going to give up just yet. Let me see this one. Yeah, this myth is busted. Gutters don't work, but I have seen it work. If you shoot lights in the side of a wagon, it'll start a fire. And as you can see right away, that is confirmed. I have shot lights like this from other spots, and they haven't started a fire. So maybe it's just specific wagons. But yeah, that's confirmed. They will start a fire. Speaking of lights, specifically lights here in Saint Denis, the trolley light is indestructible. So let's see, I'm shooting the light pretty hard, pretty much on track here. And yes, this trolley light is indestructible. That myth is confirmed. Speaking of indestructible lights, this light here in Saint Denis is also indestructible. I mean, that's a pretty clean shot. If we look up at it, though, you can actually see the little light, the little fire of light in there. Barely, if I can stop. And maybe you can see it just a little bit there. But yeah, myth is confirmed. That's also indestructible. Staying in Saint Denis, you can actually destroy clocks. So I don't know if you... Okay, so that one didn't work. Maybe if I shoot it in the middle. Yes! Confirmed! You can destroy clocks in Saint Denis. Now, if we stay here, you don't really have to do this one in Saint Denis, but if you shoot somebody and they had a gun, sometimes you can see that their blood ends up going over the gun, and the gun looks like it has blood on it. So the myth is, if I pick this gun up, it should still have the blood of the person on it. So let's see, I'm going to try to see if I can get it here, if it'll let me pick it up, and the blood should be on it, and no, myth is busted. The blood does not stay on the gun if the NPC dies. Another myth is that this window here in the gun store is indestructible, meaning you won't be able to shoot and kill people. That myth obviously is confirmed right away. Okay, I might be getting bamboozled, but I heard this is something that is supposed to have water coming out of it from a friend. If I'm being lied to, please let me know if there's water in this, but the myth is busted. No water's coming out. I want to still try it. Again, if I'm being trolled, please let me know in the comment if my friends were trolling me that there's supposed to be water coming out of this. I feel really dumb if I was, but at least I'll have the satisfaction of you guys telling me. Next myth is you can actually destroy a wheel on a wagon just by shooting the wheel. So let me come over to this wagon and see. Now, this obviously would probably work in real life during this time, just shooting a wheel consistently, but I don't think you can actually do it in the game. Still trying to shoot it, and it doesn't look like the wheel's breaking. I do believe if you put dynamite, the wheel will break off, but just shooting it specifically doesn't work, so myth busted. You cannot break the wheel just by shooting it. Another myth is that if you shoot somebody's gun, their gun will fly out of their hand. Now, I do know if you shoot their hand, it'll come out, but I feel like it should work if you just shoot the gun, and it's not necessarily working for me. Just trying to shoot the gun again. I shot his hand pretty much there, and it still is not working. I missed my shot there. But yeah, so if you shoot their gun specifically, see the spark fly? Their gun does not fall out of their hand, which kind of seems a little bit weird. I do know, I believe if you shoot their hand, it comes out, but I did it again. Myth busted, you cannot shoot the gun and have it come out of their hand. This one is also pretty interesting. If you bring an animal like a dog in that you can't usually eat, you will actually get a hidden dialogue from somebody.
You ought to try hunting something we can eat, Arthur.
And yes, Abigail says that I should bring something that we can actually eat. That's pretty interesting. Confirmed. If you come over to the cemetery in Valentine, supposedly there's 3 graves unmarked that have holes in the ground. And look at that, 4 graves actually. I heard it was just 3. But yes, this myth is confirmed. Now, there's no skeletons or anything in here. And again, this is only something that you can test via mods, so this myth is confirmed. Now, if you go over to any jail cell in the world and you do have the jail keys thing in your inventory, supposedly you can open up the cell door, and no, you cannot. Myth is busted. Now, if we come over to this guy or any guy that's kind of acting like a blacksmith, supposedly you can get a free axe. So this guy is sharpening up this axe. If I just bump into him, I should be able to get a free axe, and no, myth is busted. I cannot actually pick it up, so you cannot get a free axe from somebody that is sharpening it. I thought that would have been something pretty easy, but I guess not. Now, if you come over to the movie theater section again, if you can actually hear that there's sound coming out. Now, that sound is obviously not just coming out of nowhere. There should be a specific record player of some sorts making it. I don't have to. Okay, here it is. This is the record player. Supposedly, if you shoot it, it'll stop the sound. And no, the sound is still going on. Maybe if I tried to use a different weapon like an axe. Let's see if that works. And no, the axe doesn't do anything either. So myth busted. For this next myth, if you have a horse that is fully bonded, you can walk around a ring of fire without them being skittish at all. So as you can see, this is clearly confirmed, but this is still one myth. Supposedly, if you have a horse that is not fully bonded, it will be skittish. And let's see, and so this is kind of a 2-for-1 myth. I'm going to say this is busted. Both horses act the exact same. For this next myth, the horse that's fully bonded will not run away if you throw a fire bottle, and that is right away busted. Now, this myth is actually really interesting. I'm going to use the same bait for this. So, supposedly, you can actually get bigger fish if you have a dead carcass in the middle of the water. So, this is a fish I got with no dead animal in the water. And then let's look at how much this one weighs specifically. 14 ounces. So, now I'm going to put a dead animal in the water and see if it changes. So, I have this buck here. I'm going to try to put him in a spot where he won't float away. But now I think I should be able to get some big fish. Let's hope he goes down, not too far downstream. And I'm going to use the same exact bait, which is the cheese bait, and let's see if we get anything. It's right by our dead animal carcass. First one was 14 ounces, and this one is a total of 1 pound and 3 ounces. I'm going to try this one more time just to confirm it. The next fish I got is 1 pound and 6 ounces. So technically, this is confirmed. Very interesting. You can destroy a turret gun with just a hatchet. So let's see if this is going to work. I want to make sure I hit him perfectly here. And that one looked like it made contact. I'm going to try it again. Let's see. I have God mode on. Otherwise, this would literally be dead already. Let's see. I'm going to pause it here, put it in picture mode, and I have it pretty much hit directly on there. So technically, since I've just made contact with this turret gun, it should break. Let's find out when I exit. He's not shooting. Oh, no, he does shoot again. So that myth is busted. It does not destroy it. Speaking of a turret gun, supposedly you can kill other NPCs in this crossfire. And this guy literally just had 1,000,000 bullets fly through him, so that myth is busted. The turret does not actually kill its own people in a crossfire. For this myth, if you have a fully bonded horse like I do, it will instinctually just kick a snake on its own. And it's not kicking the snake specifically. Yeah, it's not kicking it on its own. But it will run it over though, so that myth is busted. It doesn't on its own kick the snake, but you can run over it. For this myth, if you smoke in somebody's face or an NPC's face long enough, they'll tell you to back away or they'll cough. They'll have some reaction. So I'm pretty close to this guy. Let me get a good inhale and blow out by this guy and say this myth is busted. The NPC doesn't do anything. Now, this one is kind of sad, I guess, but supposedly NPCs will remember that you robbed them. So I just robbed this lady for $1.26. I'm going to wait a little bit and walk past her, and supposedly we'll get some secret dialogue. Let's see. It's been about 5 minutes. Does she say anything after I just robbed her for her money? I'm not even going to say anything to her. I won't even antagonize her. No, I guess they do not remember. That myth is busted. NPCs, I guess, don't remember if you robbed them or not. Interesting. For this myth, you can actually cause a fight just by antagonizing other people. This one I think I pretty much know the answer to, but I still want to try it. I've riled this guy up quite a lot. Let's see if he can, I want to see if he can punch this guy by him. Punch this guy. Yes, this myth is confirmed. You can actually start a fight just by antagonizing some people and getting them mad. That's pretty funny. That's interesting. Now, I've actually kind of know this one. You can lasso somebody out of a boat, but that's not the myth we're going to test here. The myth that we're going to test here is I'm going to be only killing an individual with the lasso. So I have this guy here. Now, again, my only job here is that I can kill him with the lasso. Let's see. I'm going to do it again. Hold him up. Maybe I can get him a concussion by falling like that. I don't know. Again, big hit. I'm going to bring him up to this hill, and maybe we can hang him from the top or something. I don't know. All right, let's see. I'm bringing him up here. He's by his feet, so technically that won't hurt him, but I'm going to let him go and see if he should take some good damage. Oh, my. Okay. He's not dead yet, but I'm going to keep trying. We have him fully up. I'm going to let him go again. You know, I actually have a better idea here. Okay, I've hog-tied him. I'm technically still using the lasso. I'm just kind of pushing him. Okay, so yes, you can kill someone just using a lasso. Now, for this myth, this is one's really, really interesting. But if you knock somebody out, you can apparently wake them up if you put them through shallow water. So if you want to check if they're knocked out, just put your reticle on them. Now, to wake them up, I just have to put them through the shallow water. Let's see. So far, he is not moving. I don't necessarily think I'm going to be able to wake this guy up. And yeah, so no. He does not wake up even if he's knocked out. That myth is, unfortunately, busted. Now, for this myth, you got to put him, you can put an NPC in a boat and you can take him out and throw him into deep water. So I have this NPC perfectly into this canoe. Now, let's see if he, oh, he's already glitching a little bit. And now he's actually outside the boat. This myth is busted. I guess you can't take a dead NPC in a canoe. Now, this myth is a little gruesome, but it's still interesting. You can supposedly throw or dynamite the horns off of a buck. So let's see. That didn't look like any of the horns fell off. I'm going to go a little bit closer this time and see. Okay, that dynamite is directly by the animal's head. Have any horns fallen off? No, the horns do not fall off, even if dynamite is there on a buck. That myth is busted. For this one, you can extinguish a light or a candle just by throwing an axe or a knife over it. So just by the wind, and no. So I would maybe say in real life this would work, but I don't think this is going to work in the game. Of course, if you just smash it, it'll work. So that myth is busted. You cannot extinguish the fire off of a candle just by throwing something past it. This one is interesting. We're back with these electrical lines. Supposedly, it will make a glass sound, just like that, but there's actually no damage. So let's see. Yeah, so there's no actual damage on there, but it does make a glass sound. That's interesting. So that myth is confirmed. For this one, these lights are indestructible. And as you can see, I'm shooting these lights pretty hard, and they're still being lit up. So that one is confirmed. Now, if you come all the way over to here, you can see the smoke coming out of these factories. Supposedly, if you go over them, the smoke will stop. And wow, okay. So I don't know if it's maybe just the angle, but technically, yes, the smoke has stopped. But it could just be the angle because the game doesn't recognize you there, so myth confirmed. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. For this one, you can supposedly fall on an NPC and they will not die. And that is confirmed. Falling from great heights on an NPC won't kill them. Now, if you come into this area over here in Saint Denis and you clear out the rats, now, once you do that, that's great. You receive a reward. But when you come out, the bar itself that you helped out with is actually closed. Now, supposedly, if you no-clip through there, he will have a special line like, hey, how did you get in the bar? So here we go. We're going to come in here. Since this bar is technically closed and I can't actually get into it. He is cleaning, so that's cool. Does he say anything like, how did I get into the bar? Because technically, you can't get in if it's closed. And no, he's not saying anything. So unfortunately, that myth is busted. There is no secret dialogue if you get into the bar. Now, if we stay in Saint Denis, supposedly, if you end up getting into a fist fight with somebody, so first off, I want to rile this guy up. Not that he's extraordinarily mad. If I whistle, I will, I guess, get a group of people to come by me. So I'm going to keep whistling and seeing if there's going to be anybody that come around me. So far, that has not been the case. He's beating the crap out of me. But yeah, I am whistling a lot, and there are no big crowds, so this myth is busted. Even whistling does not draw a crowd during a fist fight. Staying around the Saint Denis area, you apparently will be able to sneak up on people and put dynamite by them, and they won't know. So let's see if I could sneak up off this guy and put a dynamite there. Does he know? Okay, no, he was definitely alerted, but I do feel like this can work. And it does destroy the bench. I feel like this could actually work, though, if I found the right person that just isn't looking at me. So I'm going to try this one more time. Okay, so I have this guy here who seems to be my next target. Maybe I just don't want to get close. Honestly, I think even the last one was confirmed because he ended up seeing it, but he wouldn't run away right away. Let's see if this guy will even notice. He's still sitting down. He's still sitting down. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm going to confirm that, because if I actually saw that dynamite, I would have ran right away, and I'm getting destroyed by whoever this is. But this myth is confirmed. You can sneak up on NPCs and place dynamite on them. Interesting. Now, interesting enough, the detail in this game, supposedly you can see the actual horseshoe on a horse, and yes, wow, I actually didn't think that was a thing, but this is confirmed. You can see the real horseshoe around the horse's hoof. That's awesome. Confirmed. Staying over in the Blackwater area, but it doesn't really matter if you're in Blackwater or not. I guess books are invincible, and I just put a piece of dynamite on it, and yeah, it is invincible. I mean, it's a little bit brown or black, but doesn't matter. The book did not get destroyed fully. But interesting, confirmed. Going over into the ice area, this one is really interesting. I guess an alligator will slip on ice. Now, what I have to do in this situation is obviously chase this alligator as much as I possibly can. This also could be a crocodile. I'm not really good with my gait. I have no idea. So I'm going to punch this guy, see if he'll end up slipping on the ice. It looks like the traction he's getting is really, really good. Doesn't seem like he's slipping at all, so I might have to bust this rather quickly. He also isn't very scared, so I would assume this is an alligator, because I think you can just mess around with them. And yeah, he's not necessarily sliding. Oh, there we go. Did you see that? He did it again. Okay, myth confirmed. Alligators can slide on ice. That's interesting. Now, this one isn't really a myth, but I didn't know about it. I just heard it. There's some secret message in this ice over here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look at this. Yes. It says, I can't see from the reflection. Okay, keep your dreams simple. So, yes, there technically is some hidden message on the ice. I didn't know that. That's probably not considered a myth, but I thought it was. Myth confirmed. Now, this is a myth that I have seen been tested millions of times, and I already know the outcome, but I haven't seen this myth being tested from over here. So what I'm going to do, take a piece of dynamite. Does it cause an avalanche? And no, it does move the snow, but no avalanche is caused by throwing dynamite, so that myth is busted. Staying in the snowy area, though, if you come over here off of the map, this is supposedly the best sledding hill in the world, or specifically in Red Dead. So I'm coming down, and I guess I should just be able to slide fully down here without any interruptions, and I think we can probably confirm this already. This is awesome. I mean, imagine you got to go down a sledding hill like this, probably one of the best sledding hills in the world. Yeah, so this myth is confirmed. That's actually pretty cool. Now, we're still going to stay in the snowy area, because this is something I also found interesting, is that animals, I guess, spawn outside of the map. Now, if you can see, from what I believe, you can't access this outside from just a normally walking around without mods. So yes, this is confirmed. Animals do spawn out of the map, and it does look like they're acting a little bit different, because they probably don't expect me to be out here. I believe they would have ran away by now. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And we're still going to stay in the snowy area, because apparently these icicles are indestructible. I'm going to shoot one, and there is ice chunks falling off, but they're not actually, like, there's particles, but the ice chunk itself isn't falling. So yeah, those icicles are indeed indestructible. Now we're going to stay in the same spot and use dynamite. I guess you can extinguish dynamite by falling in the water. So let's see. I have dynamite. I want to get it close, but I want to jump in the water. I was fully under there. Okay, that was a pretty good attempt, but I am going to try it again. Accidentally threw one, but I'm going to try it again and see if I can get it under the water here. And I think it's going to probably have to just be a perfect angle. I think we can almost probably bust it, but I still want to try it one more time. There it is, under the water, under the water. Yeah, this is pretty much under the water. This myth is busted. You cannot extinguish a dynamite by going underwater, unfortunately. Now, sticking with dynamite, supposedly dynamite will not explode in your hand. Arthur will burn it out right away. So let's see. I'm holding the dynamite. It's getting to the end, and does he do anything? No, he does. Okay, so yes, dynamite will not explode in your hand, technically. Again, staying in this nice cold area, supposedly Arthur will die of hypothermia if you do not have a shirt on him and you're in the cold area for long enough. So it's pretty cold out. We're going to jump in this freezing cold water. Nothing's really happening at this moment right now. If you can see my health, it hasn't gone down at all. There is a little bit of a snow icon, probably suggesting I'm cold, but we're going to wait out here for a long time. Okay, it has been a very long time, probably like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, a whole day cycle. It's 6 now, my health hasn't gone down at all. If I were to swim against this stream, my stamina would go down and I would probably die, but just hanging out around this cold area, nothing has happened at all. So you can walk around without a shirt and Arthur will not die from hypothermia. That myth is busted. Now, speaking of myths, and I'm sure you probably already knew, but this one is supposedly, if you go to this tree specifically, maybe not this tree specifically, but you can shoot at it a bunch of times and it will eventually break. And it looks like, no. If you didn't know by now, you basically can't break any tree in this game. So that myth is busted. Now we're going to continue to stay in this snowy area because this is an interesting myth. If you kill a hawk, like I do here, if you don't know, hawks are notorious for getting revenge on people. Supposedly, right away, another hawk will be mad. Now I do think he was with a friend. I'm going to pick him up. And right now I should be getting attacked by another bird. And it looks like if he did have a friend, it left. This was an interesting myth. I thought it was just easy to do right away, but that myth is busted. Other hawks do not care if you kill them. Now, we are over here back in this cabin, which is interesting. Now, this is a myth that snow comes into the cabin. And wow, I guess this is something I never really thought to look for, but yes, snow does go into a cabin. That myth is confirmed. Very interesting. This is a myth I'm sure a lot of you probably already knew, but I honestly don't, and I've just read about it. If you get aged pirate rum, apparently 1 sip of it makes you drunk. So I just picked some up here, and as you can see, I'm about to chug down on some of my good old aged pirate rum, and again, apparently, with 1 sip, I should get drunk. Let's find out. You can see I just consumed it, aged pirate rum, and yeah, I'm pretty tipsy and drunk right away. That is confirmed. Again, this might not have been a myth for you, but it was for me. I just genuinely didn't know. This was a myth suggested by one of the viewers is, can you kill birds in the air with dynamite? Now, this one might take a while. Okay, it has been like 15 minutes, and it has been so hard for me to try to find the correct angle, and I honestly don't want to shoot at the dynamite. I want it to be like legit, but I don't know. Shooting might be the only option, but I'm going to keep trying it. Been another 15 minutes. Now, if you don't know, I'm just spawning in these birds to see if it'll work. Okay, that one felt close, but it did not work. I will give you another update soon. It's been 30 minutes, and if you're wondering why it's not nighttime, I've made it so it's just day consistently, and I'm just trying to spawn these birds consistently to get them to come down. It is not working. I'm getting a little impatient. I feel like this is actually possible. I feel like this is actually possible, but unfortunately for me, it is just not working. I've been trying for so long. I'm going to say this myth is busted, but it might work for you. Now, if you've gotten this far, you know that I've tried some crazy situations to try and survive from a very far fall from this bridge. And supposedly, if you fall on humans/NPCs, they will protect you from dying. Let's find out! No, that myth is busted. Now, for the last and final myth, if you've made it this far, could you please comment palm tree, just so I know, like, you've actually made it this far. This is crazy. I have put some of the softest things out here. Now, supposedly, if you put hay bales and all of these things down, this is a myth I've created, you will survive the far fall. So let's see, does this myth actually break my fall from a long one? God mode is off. Does it happen? Oh no, I do die. No, it's busted. If you stayed this long, first off, thank you, and please consider subscribing, as this took a lot of work to do. This is, like I said, the longest myth-busting video in Red Dead Redemption 2 ever. And if you like this video, well, the guy that made this video made this one over here. It's supposedly pretty good. All right, guys, I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video.